What's up, everyone? So, as you saw from the thumbnail, well, maybe you couldn't see in the thumbnail, there is quite a bit of oil sprayed around the engine bay. It did spray up on the hood as well, but it sprayed out of the valve cover gasket. So, all around this area is very wet with oil. It sprayed all over the intake. If you look at the thumbnail closely, you'll see the speckles on the intake of where it's shiny. I assume that the valve cover gasket was probably old and brittle. There was a very small leak there before, but I think when I did the single catch can and capped off the vents, or the vent on that side, I think maybe the crankcase pressure was too much and it just wouldn't take it with that old valve cover gasket. So I bought a second catch can and I bought a new valve cover gasket. So we'll replace the valve cover gasket and we will install that second catch can, and that should take care of the problem completely. But I guess we'll see. So we got the air intake and the strut brace out of the way. I removed the catch can as well because some of the hoses were going to be in the way. Obviously the one that goes to the valve cover here, definitely going to be in the way. So I removed all of that, and I will figure all that out after I replace the valve cover. I need to remove the coils to get those out of the way because I need to get them out of the way, but I'll need to replace the gaskets that are on these as well. When I get the valve cover off, you'll see that there's gaskets on the underside as well. So all this needs to come out of the way so we can get underneath there and replace all of that. If you guys are new to working on vehicles, get yourself one of these. This one is just from Harbor Freight. It's just a little magnetic tray, so when you take off small nuts, bolts, whatever, it sticks to it. And you can stick it to the vehicle, stick it to any part of the vehicle that's steel. Holds all your parts for you. Take you guys up in the engine bay so you can see. Now you can see up close, you can see there's obviously some oil issues. So this is where the small leak was to begin with, but you can see there is an issue with the gasket from the looks of it all the way around. The back looks pretty good. Oh, you can't really see that from my shadow. Back looks pretty good. Pretty dry back there, but the whole front has definitely had an issue. Good thing, you probably won't see it from my shadow also. You can see, kind of see down in there, there's not any oil down in there. So there hasn't been an issue with those ones around the spark plugs, but definitely on the front there. Got that valve cover gasket off, and I did some wiping down. You got to clean up that mating surface. You can see where it had some RTV. You need to make sure to scrape all that off. When you are scraping it off, be really careful that you don't gouge the surface, because you need to remember that this is the mating surface. It's where it's going to seal. So make sure you don't mess that up. So be very careful, go slow, get all that gasket off of there. So we got that surface nice and clean. Normally I would use a razor blade, but because I just don't have any space, using a normal razor blade just wouldn't fit in here. So I grabbed one of my files, nice new sharp file, and the file did a really good job. Like I said, take your time with it, make sure you don't gouge it, especially if you use a file, because that's obviously you're going to be able to put a lot more pressure into it than you would just with just a razor blade. But just take your time. So it is recommended on these two corners to put on some high temp RTV gasket maker, just to help these corners seal a little bit. So I will do that right now. I've got the valve cover back on, and I've got all the bolts in place. I haven't tightened them down yet. I do want to give that RTV a little bit of time to set up, just a little bit, before I go torquing it down. So I am going to let that sit. I'll come back a little while. So that RTV has set up for a little bit, and got my torque wrench. I am doing it in inch pounds, so the torque on these bolts is only 7.5 foot-pounds. Because that's so little, I don't really want to do that. I would much rather use the inch pound and get a nice solid click out of it. So I got it set up with 95 inch pounds. Torque them all down. Okay, we got all those torqued down. Went from the center all the way out, which there are two in the center. And then I just went from the center here, center there, and then did those outside edges. I don't know if there's necessarily an actual sequence to it. I just know you're supposed to go from the center out. So hopefully that does it. But it is getting kind of late, so I'm going to call it a night for tonight, and we will finish this up tomorrow. How's it going, everyone? It has been about a week since I filmed last. I did get sick, and been really cold, so I didn't want to come out into the garage. With it being that cold and with being sick, I did lose my voice for a couple days, so couldn't really record anything at that point anyway. With it being so cold, I haven't built the wood burning stove that I want to build in the corner. I haven't built that yet, but I did go pick up one of those Mr. Heater, like propane rocket heater things. Makes kind of a lot of noise, so it's off right now, but it actually works really well. So the garage is about 50 degrees right now, and it was about 30 degrees when I turned it on. So it was on for about 15 minutes, and it warmed up the garage nicely, really quickly. It's a 35,000 to 60,000 BTU, so it's got a good amount of power for this space. So we'll get back to working on the vehicle. I've got the valve cover gasket is all done. Just need to get the catch cans in there, both catch cans, get the hoses all routed, and get everything back together. So I'll get after it. So I've got both catch cans mounted. You can see one of them here. The other one you can't see because it's over there. Well, you can probably see part of it.
But anyway, I've got both catch cans mounted. I didn't really like how the vent tube was routed last time, because having it just one big solid piece, it made a few kinks. Not enough that it really mattered, but I still don't really like that. So what I've done for this time to hopefully make that better is I've got a bunch of these 90s. I've also got one of these, so that'll maybe look a little better. We'll see. For the most part, I think I'll probably run these just because it's a true 90. It may not look as nice, but it'll function, and that's what really matters. So I will start measuring up the pieces that I need of the straight, start connecting to these 90s, start planning out the routing for both of these. Well, we got it all back together again. You can see now I've got 2 catch cans. It's not as clean as the previous setup was, but it's functional. There's no kinks. So it is what it is. Doesn't need to be perfect. It's function more than anything else. But we got it all together. New gasket on there, on that valve cover. So hopefully no more oil leak there. Well guys, I apologize for the delay of this video. It's taken me a little while to get it fixed with being sick and then in the change in the weather. But now I can heat the garage. Hopefully I can get back to more consistently making videos for you guys. As I've told you guys before, I do have a lot of parts sitting waiting to go on all of the projects. So there will be more videos coming out hopefully very soon. The Mini's got some suspension upgrades coming, and the truck has a lot coming. So you see some of the boxes sitting over there. Obviously you can't see what they are, but if you guys follow me on Instagram, which I'll put right there, you guys will see some of the stuff beforehand, because I do post kind of like sneak peek pictures. Like when I have something come in, when I order a part, I'll take a picture of it and post it on there. So if you guys want to keep up on things that will be coming, you can take a look at there. Hit the subscribe button so you know, or hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when new videos are coming out, and hit the like button. We'll see you guys very soon.